All right, McKenna, since we last spoke, you were named American Conference Player of the Year. You became the second night to win that award in the American, joining Delana Sart in 2014, eighth night overall to do it. I know you're not about that. You're about the team success, but still, what was it like when you heard that you were named Player of the Year? And you know, there's some pride there.
Yeah, it's a really cool award. It really shows our conference and kind of that UCF is striving to be the best at that conference every single year. So to be even up for that award is huge because it comes from how your team is performing. So I'm just really thankful that I'm able to be considered for it because there are a whole bunch of great athletes in the American Conference that we have here. But to get the award, I think, is from my teammates and the people around me, because without them, I would not have been up for the award and I would not have had the success I do.
What's it like to be in Omaha for this NCAA tournament? You're from Minnesota. I don't know. I'm sure you've probably crossed paths with Omaha at some point with all either tournaments and all that. It's a volleyball capital of the world, if you will. What's it like to be back in Omaha?
Yeah, we actually played here all the time for all of our club tournaments every single year since I was 14. So we're playing in the same venues and everything. So it's kind of cool to be back in your home, or not your home state, but in your stomping grounds. You've been here before. So it is a different experience, but it's really cool to see other teams walk around, kind of catch familiar faces here and there. But super cool experience. So far, so good. Smooth sailing, so can't complain.
Do you have any favorite memories? I mean, for those that have never been to Omaha for volleyball, what's it like to be at a volleyball tournament of any level in Omaha?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's over 100 teams here normally for the Omaha weekends that we have. Northern Lights normally brings down about 50 teams in general just for them. So it's pure chaos. And I think that's what the volleyball world is chaos, organized chaos. So just to be able to kind of get that atmosphere back and understand that it is going to be chaotic, but just to kind of go through your childhood a little bit more is kind of fun.
What's it like now as you settle in here? You're going to face High Point. You know, I'm sure you watch tape. You know, what stands out here as you all get prepared for it here for another NCAA tournament?
Yeah, we've watched film a little bit just on our own throughout this week. So we know some of their key players and everything like that. But they're a great team. They're their offense is very well balanced, just as well as any team. But so we just look to try and find their weakest spots and go after that and execute that as well as we can. So I'm sure Brian and Todd and Jenny will have a little bit more of how we can attack them. I necessarily just watch kind of their tendencies and stuff like that, where they may go and why they do it. So I kind of know what to say and what to execute for my standing. How do they defend me, stuff like that. So that's what I go in looking for. But overall, I think we can do this. We just have to play within ourselves and play hard and we'll be okay.
Cool experience for you here. You were part of the hosting the NCAA tournament 18. You were in Gainesville in 19, now in Omaha in 21. Three different experiences there. Not a lot of student athletes can say that. That's what is it like to kind of experience these different experiences here at the NCAA tournament?
Mm-hmm. It's way different. Every single year is a little bit different. My freshman year, I don't think we knew what to expect. And that's why we fell short, is because we didn't understand the whole tournament atmosphere. Playing in the AAC conference tournament really helped us the following year because we knew what the excitement and what the energy was all about. So that's why we could go to FSU and kind of put the pedal to the metal when we played them. But again, this year is kind of the same thing. So with the more experienced people who have been here before, it helps calm people down. It helps people understand that it is do or die. People trying to get everyone on the same path to move forward in a stressful situation is definitely difficult to do in any aspect as well as sports. So just to kind of get everyone to understand that there is going to be stress and there is going to be pressure, but how do we take that pressure and move forward with it, I think is something big. And we've done a great job this past week preparing for that. So
does being, you and the leaders on the team have been to the NCAA tournament before. Does that help in this situation, calm everybody down? Or is there always nerves before a big match? Is that just natural?
I think nerves are good. I think if you don't have nerves, something's wrong with you.
So you like the nerves?
I do. I used to have a little bit too much, but now I've kind of dialed it down. But I think it's good to go out there and have a little bit of butterflies in your stomach, a little pit in your stomach, just because it means that you're going to do something that you're uncomfortable with. And if you're uncomfortable with it, it means you're growing and it means you're learning, and it means you're learning with the people around you. So every team we go out and play coming up here is somebody that we have to learn and try and beat. I always say that volleyball is a mental game. So how are we going to take what we know or what we think we know and go out there and beat them? So that's how we have to change our pieces, move our pieces, and everything like that. So it is a mental game. The nerves do come as we start, but they normally shake up about 5 or 6 points in. So
for those that we spoke about this last time we spoke, but those may not be aware, your mom's a Hall of Fame coach, volleyball coach in Minnesota. You grew up in this sport, basically. What's it like to grow up in the sport and have a mom who was a coach in volleyball and a Hall of Fame coach in the state of Minnesota?
Yeah, I think it just shows that volleyball is my life. It has been my life. It's been a part of me my whole entire life, and I don't plan on giving it up anytime soon, if it's playing or coaching or anything like that. But again, it's not necessarily stepping on the court for those 3 hours that you're there, but it's the friendships that you make, the people that are around you, the drive that it's pushing you to be every day. And I honestly think that it is a great way to be uncomfortable and a great way for learning experiences to come up. So I'm glad I was growing up in that program. I've been with volleyball my whole life, and it's pushed me every day to be uncomfortable and to become a natural leader and to be somebody who's okay with confrontation or okay with drive and everything like that. So while volleyball is my life, I think it's the person I am. It's why I am the person I am. It's why my family is the way we are. Very driven people. So I think volleyball is the sport itself, but it's also a lifestyle and how you choose to live it as well.
Do you remember as a fan growing up watching the NCAA tournament volleyball, the fight national championships, or any players in specific that really kind of inspired you? I mean, obviously your family inspired you, but from just watching it from the outside, you're like, man, I want to be a part of that one day.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of just the Big Ten and the big programs like that. So we would always watch like the Final Four and the Sweet 16s and stuff like that. And I just love the way how physical everyone played when you got into that level. So to go out here and kind of be maybe a role model to a few people, I think is pretty cool and pretty special. But yeah, some of those big dogs. I've always been a fan of the Gophers because of that, my home state. So that was the team that I watched growing up. That was the team that we just always had on TV, not because it was just, you know, just click on Fox Sports North or whatever. So it's just always there for us. But just to be able to hear volleyball around my house the whole time and then watch it as well, it really brings like everything together and shows that it's a bigger than just my house. It is other people's lives as well.
It's funny you bring that up because I remember watching the selection show and part of me was thinking, I wonder if they're going to pair you guys with like Minnesota, you know, in the bracket, because, you know, you're from the state. What a storyline that would be. UCF actually played Minnesota many years ago in the late 90s in the NCAA tournament. What was going through your mind as you were watching the selection show? Did you have some thoughts there? Like, man, wouldn't that be something if I were playing that team or something like that? Or what was going through your mind?
I just wanted our name to pop up on the screen. It took a long time for our name to finally come up. That's for sure. So it's like, come on. But honestly, I didn't care who we played or where we were going. But I think the path that we have right now, we can be very successful. And I'm really happy of where we got placed. I'm very confident in where we got placed, and I'm hoping that it comes out in our favor.
We talked last time. You changed your major. You're gonna go into coaching in high school. Coach Todd just said that he's known that you were gonna be a coach since he was recruiting you as a sophomore, or whenever, you know, for you guys got to know each other. Does that help you in preparation? Being, you know, with your mom being the coach, does that kind of help you as you prepare and you help the team prepare from that mindset, knowing both the player side, but also you're familiar with the coaching side of things, having been exposed to it?
Oh, I love that piece. I think it's very interesting. It's very, it shows me a lot of how I would do things, how I would approach something, or, oh, I really like this about practice, or this is very interesting to me. So I don't necessarily look at it as like a player standpoint of, oh, I want to get this point, this point, this point. I look at it as, oh, they're doing this because we need to work on the defensive side of our game, or they're doing this because we really need to start using our middles or something like that. So I like using the coaching aspect to help my game right now, and then it will help me down the road as well.
That's pretty wild. What's the part you enjoy the most as you? I mean, it sounds like you really thrive and enjoy the preparation and just watching and studying. You're a student of the game, aren't you?
Yes, I love practice. I know a lot of student athletes are like, oh, I have to go to practice again. I love practice. It's the best part of my day. Gets me out of the house, gets me to do some things that are uncomfortable for me, uncomfortable for my teammates. But yeah, I love learning the whys behind things. A lot of my coaches will say I am very stubborn because I think my whys might be different than their whys. But I do love learning the reasoning behind things or why we are doing it the way we are. So I'm sure it bugs the coaches sometimes because I'm always asking the why do you want to do it like this? But they're really good at responding to me, really helping me understand it so that we can execute at the highest potential.
I want to ask you about two of your teammates. Anne-Marie Watson was first team all conference. Narissa Moravec was second team all conference. What makes them so valuable to this team?
Yeah, I think consistency is key. I talk about it all the time at practice, like stay consistent. But they're very consistent throughout day in, day out. Our middles do a great job of putting up a great block. They might not be hitting for high numbers or high kills all the time, but they're always there. They're always present. They always do their job effectively. And Anne-Marie Watson puts the ball down when we need her to. She puts up a huge block, which is great to have in the back row, really easy to see, really easy to move. So all of them together is a great bonus for me. Makes my job a little bit easier, makes people around them a little bit easier. And that's the name of the game, is how can I help the next person? So they do a great job of helping that next person.
I know you're not into stats and all this stuff, but I'm going to tell you this anyway. You're 27 digs away from 1,000 digs and being the 6th UCF player to have over 1,000 kills and over 1,000 digs in a career, joining the likes of Tyra Harper, who's an Olympian Hall of Famer, UCF Hall of Famer Renata Menchikova, Marian Mitzkeff, Kia Bright, and Erin Campbell, who you know well. And she's talked to me about how that just shows, for those that don't follow the sport closely, what a great, well-rounded player you are. There's going to be a lot of people that watch you this week that haven't watched you play. Just talk about, I know the stats don't mean nothing, but that stat's a unique stat. Not many players can pull that off, that where you might be pulling off here soon.
Yeah, it's a cool one. So hopefully I get it this year, because that means I'm not probably going to get 27 digs in one game. So hopefully I'll get it in 2 or 3. But that is the goal, is to get to those next rounds. So that's a goal for me then, is to get to those next rounds, to get those 1,000. But again, not really what I'm focused on. We're focused on High Point right now, what we can do to get better, what we can do to win. The accolades come because we're so focused. I think my team and my coaches do a great job of keeping us going straight, and then the accolades kind of pile on the train as we go. So as long as we can stay consistent, I think the accolades for everyone kind of keeps coming around, and that's what makes our team so special.
But it does speak that you're such a great round player. You're not a one-dimensional player. You could do a lot of things on the court.
Yeah.
Was that something that you worked on? I mean, just, is that natural? Like, how much of that is work ethic? How much of that is just natural ability?
I would think it's a learned ability, only because I started as a setter and then I moved to libero for most of my club season. And then as the last 2 years, as I became an outside hitter. But that gives me 3 different options to look at the game differently. And I think that's something really important. I wish that I could have done middle. I wish I could have done right side. I wish I could have done all different positions, just to kind of get that aspect of the game and the understanding of why. So I think all little kids growing up should try out all these positions, not necessarily to find your favorite one, but to give you a different aspect of the game, give you a different insight of why things are happening the way they are. Why is this hitter hitting here? It's probably because the libero doesn't move very well that way, or something like that. Or why should the setter set the outside? It's because there's no block on the right side. Things like that is something that I've learned throughout the years. And it's helped me be a leader on the court. It's helped me hit smarter. It's helped me dig where they're going to be, stuff like that. So I think growing up again in that volleyball community has really helped me understand the game more, understand how to be a 6 rotation player. And I think that's really huge.
That's right. When you were told you're moving to outside hitter, what was your reaction?
I actually moved to right side first because I was taller, and I was like, okay, sure, whatever. My mom was the one that was like, let's do it, because we needed to for high school, because high school, you're just, whoever's there is who you're playing with. But that's what I did. And then I went back into the libero as club season started. And then over time, I went to the outside. for both club and high school. But again, it's another game. It's another chess piece for me. So I really appreciated just the understanding of why, and it's another challenge. I'm always trying to find a new challenge in life, with that being friendships or with that being an activity to do. But just another challenge to put out to me, I think is something huge.
That's fantastic. I didn't realize that. You're right, because playing all these different positions, you can relate to what any player on the court is their responsibility and their thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. So like with the setters, like it's really big. I can see holes that they might not be able to see because I'm in maybe middle back or left back. And that's something that they can't see at the time, but I understand the whys. Why would that be a good idea? I'm sure it makes them upset a little bit when I see it and they don't. And it also, I ask more questions probably in film because of it. I like to understand if people are understanding the same way I am.
Right.
But again, yeah, it does help. It helps me understand why people are frustrated. It helps me understand why they need to do it the certain way, stuff like that.
No, it's fantastic. Coach Dagenet gave you an ultimate compliment, compared you like a Peyton Manning type in football, who kind of knew what every player on the field's responsibilities was and helping run the offense. He kind of compared you to him, which is a huge compliment to say that. But you do; it's very accurate. You know everybody in the court, what's going on. You've been in those shoes, and you can kind of adapt based on that. It's pretty phenomenal that be able to pull that off. Last question. As you get before the match, what's the message you'll tell your teammates and your players, especially the ones that maybe haven't been through this, against High Point, and get ready to be successful?
I just say stay confident, stay humble, stay level-headed. I think if you ride too high, you're going to hit too low at some point. So if we can stay in that middle ground and just go as far as we can, as consistently as we can is the goal. Go out there, put your energy forward. And rely on your teammates. Don't rely on one kill or one block or one serve to win us this game. It's going to be 75 points, hopefully only, of grit and grind to get us through to the next game. But we do have to look at each point. So what can I do in that next point to get this ball over on the other side and get it down? And I think that's what we need as a team right now, is what can I do? What can they do? What can each person do to get this team rolling in the way we need it to roll?
Well, good luck there, and have fun, and we wish you the best.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good